Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Ramo Rajamani Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bihata Nisha Charachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha. Ramannasti Parayanam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalaya Sada Bhavatu Me Bho Rama Mamuddhara Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram Satgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranas Chakshushrotраmatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastvanirakaranam me astu tadatmani nirateya upanishatsu dharmaha te mai santu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the last session, we had seen the introduction to third chapter. This was an Upakhyanam, a story of Yaksha. The story we saw, different devatas come, they are unable to know Yaksha. Agni Devata is unable to burn the blade of grass. Vayu Devata is unable to blow away the blade of grass. Then comes Haimavati Uma Devi, who gives the teaching to Indra. So Bhagwan said, he was introducing this portion. He said, the purpose of Yaksha story is to appreciate this point that self-knowledge is very, very subtle. Subtle not only in terms of hair-splitting logic or philosophical intricacies which are there in Vedanta, but most importantly, for somebody to benefit from this knowledge, there are more adjustments needed in our personality. Right? Because we never started Vedanta to know about Sat, to know about Chit, or even to know about Ananda. We said, I just want some peace of mind. I just want some happiness in life. And whatever that reason was, we started walking on this path of Vedanta, spirituality. Now Bhagwan is telling us, did you get what you wanted? You started with a goal. Did you get it? He says, what was the goal? Even that goal, Vedanta only had to tell us that there is something called as unconditioned happiness, having attained which I am not affected by this world at all. Even if not at all, at least I am not affected as much. It's an intermediate step, right? So here is asking us, Upanishad is over. Did you get it? If not, then I have to pay attention to certain facets of my personality. Durvidniyata over here doesn't only refer to the technicalities. Durvidniyata means even if you have understood Vedanta very well technically, it is easy to miss the point. Missing the point means not seeing the result in our life. So for that, I have to put forth more effort. Yatna adhikya artha. Yatna adhikya artha. Now he says, out of the fourfold qualifications which are there, even those are very, very important. Don't get caught in this logic that if everything is anatma, is sadhana chatushtaya atma or anatma? What do you say? It is anatma only. So if it is anatma, is it satya or mithya? You say it is mithya. Then why should I strive for something which is mithya? He says, don't go in that logic. Shamadhi, Shatka Sampatti, it is very much needed to see the benefit of this knowledge in our life. Shamadhyartah va amnayah abhimana shatanat. Shamadhyartah means to enjoin that Shamadhi is needed. And within those sadhana chatushtaya, one of the most important part, that is reducing our abhiman. And we actually don't have to do much. Bhagavan takes care of it. We saw the portion where how he is very capable of removing our abhimana time and again. Abhimana shatanat means if abhimana is there, Brahma Vidya doesn't become clear. Result of knowledge is not seen. So abhimana is represented by Vayu Devata and Agni Devata. They said, we can do this. This is nothing. And because of that abhimana, they did not know Yaksha. Means when abhimana is there, truth doesn't become revealed to that person. But when abhimana is not there, in the case of Indra, then he was able to gain knowledge of Yaksha. So that is why this story has come. Now Bhagavan gives third reason. Very beautiful reason it is. Sagunopasanartho va apoditatvat nedam yadidam upasate iti upasyatvam brahmanah apoditatvat anupasyatve prapte tasyaiva brahmanah sagunatvena adidaivatam adhyatmam cha upasanam vidhati tavyam iti evam artho veti adidaivatam tadvanam upasitavyam tadvanam mityupasitavyam iti hi vakshati. He says this Upakhyanam has come to remind students of Vedanta that devotion is an integral part of our spiritual journey. Saguna upasanarthova apoditatvat means in the previous mantras, upasana was negated. Nedam yadidam upasate. And when the student heard it, he got to this conclusion that now I have started studying Vedanta. I will remain only in Vedanta. All this saguna and devotional practice, that is not appealing to me because I want to stay only in Vedanta matam. Whatever that reason is, most of the times it is mind doesn't want to do it. Mind is having more rajas pradhana. But reason conveniently it can find several of them. One of them is this. This duality, it will again come in and it will affect my non-dual knowledge. You see what Bhagavan says. Nedam yadidam upasate iti upaste iti upasyatvam brahmana apoditam. In that previous mantra, upasyatva of Brahma was negated. Means what was the point of that mantra? That Brahman is that which is without attributes. And if you have understood Brahma as something with attributes, they say that part was negated. But student came to understand that you can never worship Brahman as Saguna. That was his erroneous understanding. Apoditatvat anupasyatve prapte tasyaiva brahmana sagunatvena adidaivatam adhyatmam cha upasanam vidatitavya. Now again Upanishad mantra has come to say that same Brahma should be worshipped as Adhyatma and Adidaiva. Means Nirguna Brahma can take a form at Adhyatma level. It can also take another form at Adidaiva level. So worshipping as Adhyatma will be as Antaryami Bhagavan, one who is the inner prompter, one who guides us on the right path. And worshipping Bhagavan as Adidaiva, you can say as a one form or as this entire creation, something which is more powerful, something which has taken a manifest form. Will this knowledge or will this kind of practice not affect my Nirguna Jnanam? We say one has understood well, then they will not get confused. There is an Upanishad mantra, right? Tasmin drishte paravare. What is clear knowledge? One who has understood para and one who has understood apara also. Both should be understood, not only one. If I have understood the absolute cause is consciousness and the effect is this entire creation, when I look at creation, I should be able to shift attention to consciousness. What happens is, when I look at creation, I look only at Nama Rupa. I look only at name and form. Even this thought doesn't come that all of this is Chaitanya. He says to do that first is Upasana. Even though we have not negated the world yet, world is also kept, consciousness also kept. And how did it come about? He says that is what is avatar. That consciousness which is non-changing, that can appear in saguna form whenever it wants. It appeared as a particular form as Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Rama. But this entire creation also is a saguna form of the Lord. Right? What we chant in Purusha Suktam, all of that. So here Bhagwan is telling us, don't get stuck only with one. It has its own purpose. Both should be practiced in a healthy way. Mahatmas give one story. They say there was a gold mine. Gold mine was there. And this person who was working, who was owning that gold mine, he had a son who was very familiar with that, gold when it comes out, it's very different than what we are familiar with. So he was familiar with that gold, raw gold. So one day father asked the boy, there is a chain kept inside. There is a gold chain kept inside. Bring that one. He goes inside, searches. He says, Father, it's only chain, there is no gold. Why? Because he is familiar with gold in that bar form. If you make it into anything different, he says, I didn't find it. So that Mahatma would say, this is how we are when it comes to world. We say either I should experience only consciousness or I am getting caught only in world. Both the connection is not made. That world has come from consciousness only. All the way study in Tattva Bodha, Srishti Prakriya, Panchikaranam, all of that is to come to this point that when I see the world, I should know the cause is consciousness. So he says, this is Upasana. That is something one has to do it. And if I have the question, how did Nirguna become Saguna? He says, why can it not? Right? It is just like grandfather, who is probably a very renowned person, very high up in position. If grandchild wants, he can become a horse. right? He might be Chief Justice of a High Court, Supreme Court. But if grandchild wants, he can become a horse. Now, what has that thing done? It has not brought about any change in grandfather. At the same time, it served the purpose, right? Grandchild, he got joy. Whatever he wanted, he was happy. So without becoming a horse, that person took the role of a horse and accomplished purpose also. So here it is said, Nirguna Brahma becomes Saguna without actually undergoing any change. And just as Nirguna had a purpose, Saguna also has a unique purpose. And the best way to understand that is purity of mind that we are seeking. There is no better way to get it than from devotion. So for a Vedanta student, it is said, all these spiritual practices which are there, actually that is the one which is going to make the difference in the long run. Knowledge is going to be the same. And within a few texts, all of us will get this conviction that I am Brahma, Jagat is Mithya, Panchakosha. But the ability to digest will depend upon each one's sadhana. That is what is being highlighted through that story. Bhagavan is mentioning over here. Adidaivatam tadvanam iti upasitavyam iti hi vakshati. Later in the Upanishad, it is said, the supreme truth should be meditated with this name Tadvanam. Nice name, huh? If for your home you are thinking of any name, I have seen some people keep this name, Tadvanam. Means that which is most worshipful. That is Bhagavan, and that Bhagavan we should connect more and more. Worship him through different ways. So here also indication is given to Nama Sadhana. Okay, so Tadvanam is the name, worshipped as Adhidaivatam. But important point to note here is Nama Sadhana also should be practiced. One Mahatma Ji, he would say, all problems for a Vedanta student comes when they stop this devotion. All problems at whatever level, mind level, losing faith, not feeling that we are benefiting from Vedanta. You would say all of that has only one reason. If we stop Ishwar Bhajan, it says all other things will appear more important. Mind getting disturbed, small things bothering a lot. And it bothers twice. I'm studying Vedanta and still I'm getting disturbed. Right? So this is antidote is over here. You know, we have heard a lot of stotram by Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. But if you want to appreciate with what bhava he writes stotram, if you could get a glimpse in Bhagwan's mind, that glimpse you can get through these bhashyas. Generally, he doesn't talk about his own devotion. But here, unknowingly, while he is writing, a lot of things in his mind are coming on paper. You see how he says, Brahmeti paraha, nahi anyatra. What happened? Oh, okay. Brahmeti paraha, lingat, nahi anyatra, parat ishwarat, nitya sarvajñat, paribhuya, ajñādīn strunam, vajrīkartum, samarthyam asti, tanna shashakadagdhum, ityādi lingat, brahma shabda vācyaha, ishvaraha, iti avasīyate, nahi anyatha, agnin strunam, dagdhum, notsahate, Vayurva adatum Ishwarechaya tu trunamapi vajri bhavati iti upapadyate brahmeti paraha. The word Brahma that has come in Bhashya, that has come in Upanishad mantra, it says that word Brahma refers to Supreme Most Ishwara Bhagavan. Brahma can refer to several things. In Upasana, Brahma, even Devata can be referred as Brahma. Mind can be referred as Brahma. So many things are there. He says this word Brahma refers to that Supreme Most Truth. Bhagavan, that is referred by Brahma. He says why? Because all indicators of Bhagavan are present over here. Means that Yaksha who appeared was none other than Bhagavan only. Says why? Because all indicators of Bhagavan are present. What is indicator of Bhagavan? So first come to this. 4 indicators are given. Parat means one who is supreme most. There is no higher boss above Bhagavan. If he decides something, nobody can undo that thing. Para means that. The supreme most authority, it says that is Bhagavan. Ishwarat, one who is a ruler. One who is a ruler, it says that is Bhagavan, that is the second indicator, who has Ishana Samarthya, ruling ability. Third indicator is he is all knowing, Sarvajnat. Fourth one is Nitya. I missed the order over here. Nitya means one who is eternal. You can take it Nitya along with Sarvajna also. One who is always Sarvajna. There is not a time when he was ignorant and then he became all knowing. What he is knowing, everything will elaborate. So pay attention to these words. As we study the Bhashya, the words will become clearer. 3 indicators. One is Para, second is Ishwara, and third is Nitya Sarvajna. He is always ever of the nature of knowledge and knows all the karma phalas of jivas. All knowing means that. Other than such Bhagwan, Ajnadin Strunam Vajrikartum Samarthyam. Other than this Bhagwan, nobody has this ability to do that thing which Agni Devata and Vayu Devata, they were made to do. Means they were unable to burn that blade of grass. Other than Bhagwan, nobody can do such a thing. Because they are also very powerful Devatas. Agni Devata says, I am Jata Veda. All oblations are offered in me. That is my power. Tanna Shashaka Dagdhum Ityadi Lingat Brahma Shabda Vachya Ishwara iti avasiyate. Even that Agni Devata could not burn the blade of grass. With this statement, we know that whoever that Brahma was, it has to be Bhagwan only, not some other Devata. Bhagwan only took avatar and appeared as that Yaksha. Nahi anyatha agnim strunam dagdhum notsahate vayurva adatum. Otherwise, it is not possible that Agni could not burn blade of grass, Vayu could not blow away that blade of grass. Now, this statement is very, very important, something that we should reflect more in our own life and benefit in our devotional practice. Devotional practice should become deeper and it should have the power to bring us out of difficulties. You look at the statement. What does it say? Ishwarechaya tu trunam api vajri bhavati iti upapadyate. If Bhagwan wants, even blade of grass can become a thunderbolt. Who is telling this? Advaita Shiromani, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. Ishwarechaya trunam api vajri bhavatum iti upapadyate. Means impossible can be made possible if he wants. So my role is to become a devotee and actually try to see this statement working in our life. Now this is Bhagwan Shankaracharya's conviction. It has to become a sadhaka's conviction. Now in Bhagwan Shankaracharya's life also, this statement that he's making, there must have been some indicators, right? Because of which he is saying, Ishwarechaya trunamapi vajri bhavatum, trunamapi vajri bhavati iti upapadyate. There are several indicators. Few of them is with his own lifespan. We all know that he was given 16 years of lifespan. And after 16 years, it is said by 8 years, he mastered all Shastra. By 16 years, he completed all Bhashya. So his writing work was done by 16 years. Then Vedvyasji comes as a Brahmana, asks him questions about Brahma Sutra. And then he is so pleased with Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he says, I'll give you 16 more years. Your work is not completed. 32 years, you have to, within 32 years, you have to complete this. Now, did you notice something there? How is lifespan decided? We say based on prarabdha karma. Ishwarechaya, even that can be changed. If you ever get a doubt, can prarabdha be changed? You look at Bhagwan Shankaracharya's life and look at this statement again. The one who is sending prarabdha is Bhagwan. If his ichha is there, even this can be changed. Ishwarechaya tu trunamapi vajri bhavati iti upapadyate. And there are several other incidents also in his life. He goes to debate with a Kapalika, those who practice tantric spells. And when he's doing that, the Kapalika, he puts a spell on Bhagwan Shankaracharya. And because he also had yogic powers, one who can do Parakaya Pravesha, what is Kapalika spell for him? Parakaya Pravesha means he can enter in another's body. You know that story, right? He enters during the debate time. You don't know that story? Mandana Mishraji, when he is debating, Mandana Mishraji's wife was Ubhaya Bharati Devi. She said, you don't only have to debate with him, but you have to also answer my questions. And she asks something about Grahastha-ashrama to Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, and he is unable to give an answer directly. So he says, wait for some time, I will do Parakaya Pravesha and then come back. So he goes and enters the body of a king and then gets the answers for whatever question she had asked. So somebody who has that yogic power, Kapalika's spell is nothing for him. But because he was in that state of trance or meditation or about to debate with that Kapalika, that spell comes on him. And then his student who was there, Padmapadacharya ji, he was an upasaka of Narsimha Bhagwan. So he invokes Narsimha Bhagwan, and Narsimha Bhagwan takes avatara and saves Bhagwan Shankaracharya from that spell. So there are several incidents. So we should appreciate that line, what he is writing. He has seen this as pratyaksha anubhava, and it's an inspiration for all devotees also to see. Ishwarechaya tu trunamapi vajri bhavati. Bhagwan wants whatever is impossible, even that can become possible. This is a very beautiful portion now. This is the main part of Ishwara Siddhi Prakarnam. Now he says that Bhagwan in whom we should find shelter, in whom we should seek support. How do we establish the presence of such Bhagwan? When we were studying this, one Amma came from somewhere to meet Puja Guruji in Sandeepany. I knew her from before. And she was asking, what did you study today? I said, we were studying Ishwara Siddhi Prakarnam. So I told her, with logic, we are establishing the presence of God. And she looked at me in a very puzzled way. Like, what's wrong? She said, why do you need logic to establish presence of God? So actually speaking, you don't. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya also says, Bhagwan's presence is established by Shastra, and devotee says that with his own anubhava. He says, I have received sufficient from the Lord. I don't need logic to prove his existence. But here Bhagwan says, even if that is the case, you can still use logic to deepen your conviction. Deepen your conviction. And this is the portion where all possible options of disproving need for God are refuted. So if anybody has any questions about why do we need God, this is what we have to reflect upon. Okay, let us see. Tat siddhihi jagato niyata pravrutte shruti smruti prasiddhi bihi nitya sarva vijnane Ishware sarvatmani sarvashaktau siddhepi shastrartha nischayartham uchyate. Tat siddhi. Tat refers to Ishwara. What we just discussed. That Bhagwan Siddhi happens by looking at the systematic order in this creation. Tat siddhi jagatah niyata pravrutte. Siddhi of Bhagwan happens by observing the way that this creation functions. Means every single thing is being taken care of. Every small jiva which is there is given what it needs. So Niyata Pravrutti, that word we should reflect more and more. With lot of reverence, just appreciate that word. Niyata means systematic. Pravrutti means functioning. Systematic functioning of the world is the thread for us to think more about the existence of God. Means some intelligent cause should be there, some intelligent entity should be there, which is overseeing all this intelligent functioning of the world. That is this point. Samartha Ramdas Ji, he was the guru of Shivaji Maharaj. And it is said, once Shivaji Maharaj went and won a battle with some neighboring king, and he got this pride. Pride means he got this abhimana, that I'm a valorous king and I'm taking care of this entire kingdom. Everybody who is there, they are under my shelter. And Samartha Ramdas Ji was not only his, guru with respect to kingdom, but also his Adhyatma guru. He said, this abhimana I have to take out. So he takes him for a hike. Sajjangad probably, he goes for a hike. And then he sees a small boulder, small stone, which is kept. And with a stick, he removes it. And inside that, under that stone, there was a frog. And he says, who is taking care of this frog? Over there it is given water, it is given food, everything is being supplied. Did you even know that this frog existed in your kingdom? He says, got the answer. King might do few things, but there are so many jivas here who are getting what they want. Somebody has to plan. That master planner is Bhagavan. This point again he will elaborate, but he's just making us appreciate the word Niyata Pravrutti. Niyata Pravrutti we should appreciate at different levels. Look at our own human body and see whether it is random or is it Niyata Pravrutti. Means whatever things we are eating as solid objects, how can subtle thing like prana come and digest it and make it all homogeneous? And this too, not one day or 2 days, day after day, this is the process. The point is to appreciate the word Niyata. Niyata means systematic. And for that, wherever you can see this order, there this thought should come. Who is doing this? If it is in such a systematic way, somebody should be there who is overseeing it or responsible for it. So human body, that is the one. And another simpler one is our seasons. If there is no Niyata Pravrutti, if there is no systematic order, there can be no forecast. Right? We might say seasons are randomly coming up. Even in that randomness, there is predictability. You can predict few things because there is some order which is being followed in this cycle of creation. Now, this can be a very heated topic for those who are coming from a very scientific mindset. In the sense that there is one school of thought which says everything is random. Don't have any kind of insistence on order system. And they have their own points to elaborate. But Vedanta will say, we come up with the conclusion that a thing is random if we are unable to pinpoint a particular cause. If we are unable to pinpoint a logic in why this thing is happening in this way, we say it is random. And it's so interesting, even when it comes to things of this world, we might feel it is random, but there is a law of nature which is governing it. And I'll give some examples. One is, have you all seen how they open a dam, the gates which are there? When the gates are opened, the water just gushes out. For a person who has just come to see the dam, right? How does the water look? It's beautiful, but it is random. Some is falling here, right near that. Some of it is going further. All of that is happening. We say it is just flowing out. But you ask a fluid mechanics student, he says, is this random? He says, no, I can precisely tell you where that water is going to fall. He'll do all his math and calculations. He'll say, this is the viscosity. This is how this water is going to fall. The point is, nature's law are still governing it. What looks random to one person looks to be a very systematic thing to another person. You can also take ant hill. If you have ever gone close to an ant hill or stepped on it, you should not step it. But if you have gone close to it and suddenly you see ants going all around, how does it look from outside? We feel it's random. But you go and ask the ants. And there are so many researchers who have done study on that also, that how nature's law governs even animals. They say we are on a project. Even if they're walking in a line, they talk to each other as though and go away, if you have noticed. The point is, what looks random from the outside, nature's law is governing behind it. Whether everything is the same, now think about karma phala. Whatever karma phala is supposed to come, whatever karma phalas are coming to all jivas, if you just look at it superficially, those karma phalas look to be random. But over here, Karma Siddhanta says, karma phalas cannot be random. It has to have a karta. It has to have somebody who is giving that karma phala to that particular karta. Karta means doer. Doer should have done the karma. And there should be some other entity, not karta, not even the karma. Some other entity should be there, which is giving the karma phala to that karta. And then he says, this entire creation which is there, it is running in the same framework of karma phala. Okay, now you see how he elaborates what is the purpose of this creation. In simple line, he says, creation is an infrastructure for jivas to get karma phala. In that you include mountains, rivers, malls, that is human created and which is natural. Only purpose of creation, he says, is to give appropriate karma phalas to jivas. Karma phala means experience. That itself will produce sukham or it will produce dukkham. Now, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he says, whatever you can see with your eyes, you already know is part of creation. So he doesn't even mention them. In his understanding, creation starts with something which is more than what meets the eye. You see how he describes. Tasya Ishwarasya Sadbhava Siddhi Kuto Bhavatiti Uchyate Yadidam Jagat Deva Gandharva Yaksha Rakshaha Pitru Pishachadi Lakshanam Dyuviyat Pruthivi Aditya Chandra Graha Nakshatra Vichitram Vividha Prani Upabhoga Yogya Sthana Sadhana Sambandhi. Of that Bhagwan, how do you establish his Siddhi? How do you make this point that you need a cosmic Lord for this entire creation? He said, just look at Jagat first. Look at Jagat. Yadidam Jagat. Now Jagat, he doesn't even mention mountains and rivers. You see where he starts. Different types of jivas are there. Which are those jivas? Deva. Devatas are there. Gandharvas are there. Yakshas are there. These are all celestial beings. Yaksha, Raksha. Yaksha means those who are bhogis. But Raksha means who can do anything to get that bhoga. Ma Raksha, only Bhaksha. And there is no need to protect anything, just go and get whatever you want. So Kumbhakarna is said is a Yaksha. He wants bhoga, but when Ravana wakes him up, he gives Upadesha to Ravana. He says, what are you doing? Don't you know that Bhagwan Rama is Lord of the universe and so on? But when he gets bhoga, again he starts enjoying. Ravana is Raksha. Not only he wants bhoga, but he can do anything to get that bhoga. So like this, there are different gradations. Yaksha, Raksha, Pitru, Pishachadi. Pitru Loka is there. And not only all good, Pishacha also is there. Means demons, they are also there. Now this is Jivas, Jiva types. Did you notice? Svedaja, Andaja, none of that is mentioned. He starts only with celestial. Then he says, for each Jiva, appropriate Loka has to be created. So Dyuloka means Swarga Loka. And Jivas over here, you need all the elements which are there. Viyat, Pruthivi, in space, earth, all the elements are needed. And accordingly, you need all the planets and the planetary system to interconnect with all these things. Jyotish Shastra, that is how they predict, right? They say everything is interconnected, but the interconnection is the most easiest, most reliable to predict through planets. So they have to start functioning in their own way. Aditya Chandra Graha Nakshatra Vichitram Vividha Prani Upabhoga Yogya Sthanam Sadhana Sambandhi. Means all the Upabhoga Sthana, appropriate infrastructure has to be provided for every Jiva to get appropriate experience. Means he is saying here, being God is not easy. For 4 people, if we have to take care, how difficult it is, right? Everybody has their own preferences. Everybody wants their own loka. Loka means that which is experienced. Ishavasya Upanishad, lokyate bhujyate iti loka. That which you are experiencing, that is loka. So at home, we see 4 people are there. Each person wants a different experience. Food-wise, preferences are so much. Imagine somebody who has to keep track of experiences required for all jivas and then appropriately provide that particular environment. What must be the knowledge of such a power? He said, just look at Jagat, you will quickly become astika. At least you will know that there is some power which has to do these things, because karma phala has to be given to every jiva. Whenever you see a plan, it cannot be without planner. Whenever you see something systematic, it cannot be without a sentient entity which is planning it. So you see what is his point? Tat atyanta kushala shilpibhihi api durnirmanam deshakala nimitta anurupa niyata pravrutti nivrutti kramam etad bhoktru karma vibhagajna prayatna purvakam bhavitum arhati karyatve sati yathokta lakshanatvat gruhaprasada rathashayana asanadivate vipakshe atmadivate. He says, if you pay attention to the world and appreciate the intricacies, complexity of the world, one thing we will know, that it cannot be created even by the most skilled sculptor. Means no jiva can create such a world. But before this, we should come to this firm understanding that whatever is created should have a creator. Whatever is created should have a creator. Yat krutam tat sakartrukam. Krutam means what is an effect, what is created. Means it is born at some time, it is created at some time, it stays for some time, and then it dissolves. That is called as an effect. It perishes after some time. So body, for example, what is it? Is it karya or not karya? I say it is karya. Why? Because it is created at some time, it modifies in between, and it perishes. Anything you take which fits this lakshana, which fits this characteristic, that is karya. So he says, whatever is karya should have a creator. So you look at this creation and think whether an individual can be the creator of such a creation. Even this point to settle down takes a lot of time, because many schools of thoughts are there, or we ourselves think many a times, why do we need a creator? Let creation come about in the way it has come about. We don't even think whether cause is needed or not. There is one story of one king and a minister. This king had a similar idea. He said, you keep worshipping God and keep saying that he is creator and so on. I don't think we need a creator. World is running the way it is. Everything is happening. Why do you need a creator? This minister was very wise. Overnight, he cleaned up half of that king's rose garden. He cut half of that rose garden. Half he remained. Half he kept, half he removed. Next morning, the king came. He was so angry. It was rose garden, king's pride, and he loved it so much. He said, what happened to this rose garden? He said, nighttime, roses decided to go for a walk. All of them went away. He said, what kind of answer is this? He said, okay, you want another answer? It was random. Yesterday, roses were there. Today, suddenly, roses have disappeared. King got his answer. He said, if such a simple thing cannot be random, if I'm seeing an effect, it should have somebody who has done it. I'm seeing this whole creation as an effect, so systematic. How can we say that there is no creator? It needs some creator who is running this show. When we do Ramcharitmanas Parayanam, last time I heard, there is one samput they do in between. I don't know if it is a bhajan or where they got it from. Jiski rachna itni sundar, wo kitna sundar hoga. Means one whose creation is so beautiful, how beautiful that Lord must be, who has created such a beautiful world. Did you all hear it, or last time they were doing it? Now, based on this, that is the point. Tat atyanta kushala shilpi means sculptor. Even the most expert sculptor cannot design this complicated world. Durnirmanam desha kala nimitta anurupam. Desha kala is something that this jiva has to know thoroughly about all other jivas. If you say that jiva has designed this world, means he has to know exactly which jiva should get which karma phala at which place, at what time. How will that individual jiva know? Okay. Niyata Pravrutti Nivrutti Kramam. Every word is beautiful here. He says this world is having pravrutti at the right time and nivrutti also at the right time. What we otherwise say as Srushti, Sthiti and Pralaya. Find anything in this creation, it will have all these three things. It is born at some time, it modifies and is sustained for some time, and finally it perishes. So he says all three things happen in the right time. We should not say Sthiti is longer or Sthiti is shorter, or Pralaya came very quickly. He says no, everything is Niyata. But again, for us it might look aniyata. Just like that dam, just like that anthill. He says karma siddhanta is something that you have to prove first. And that is what Bhagavan is going to prove. All different points will be taken up and they'll be refuted. Okay. And how should this creator be? He should be bhoktru karma vibhagajna. Means that creator should be someone, if he has to give results of action, he should know the karmas of every jiva. And he should create this world keeping that karma in mind. Prayatna purvakam bhavitum arhati. So one is he should know what is the karma, and keeping that karma in mind, with effort he should create this world. Karyatve sati yathokta lakshanatvat. Because Jagat is Karya, that is why this Lakshana is important. It should have a creator, and creator should be having knowledge and the ability to create. Example he gives, just like a house. House or a palace, prasada, ratha shayana, chariot, or a bed, simple thing, he takes. If you are seeing that effect, there should be somebody who has thought through it. And that person who is making it knows the client's requirement, right? He cannot randomly create things and just give it away. He says he knows what people want. Means he has knowledge also and ability to create it. So in the same way, who has created this universe, he says he should have knowledge of karma of each jiva and the ability to create it. Okay. Asanadivat, vipaksha atmadivat. Unlike Atma. Means what is he refuting here? He says Atma is not Karya. Atma is not an effect. That is why it doesn't need creator. It is not born, it does not undergo modification, and it does not perish. But this world, that is a Karya. So every Karya should have a creator. Okay. All right, we'll pause here. There are few things that he is going to bring as a Purva Paksha now. Purva Paksha means opponent. He is going to come and say, why do you need God? All this diversity which is there, why can't karma take care of this diversity on its own? You only said in Ramcharitmanas, right? Karma pradhana vishwakari rakha. जो जैसा करे सो तसा फल चाखा. Bhagwan takes care of this entire creation through karma only. Whatever karma a person does, same results. According to that karma, he will get results. So why can't this diversity be taken care of by karma alone? So Vedanta is going to come and say, alone part is what we have problem with. We don't say karma is not responsible for diversity, but if you say karma alone can do it, then we will refute it. Okay, more we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.